Hey everyone, I'm Jerred Z, and I'm here in Omaha, Nebraska, shooting some photos at Heron Haven, which is a wonderful little place if you haven't been. Lots of flowers, lots of paths, wildlife, some cool stuff. Today I wanted to talk to you about challenging yourself by limitations. So limitations really help to push you as a photographer, right? They've pushed me as a photographer. They've allowed me to see the world in a different way through like one lens. And so that's what this limitation is that I'm going to present to you. Using one lens only, going out, taking a single focal length and seeing what you can do with it. You could go and use any lens you want, right? You can use a zoom lens, but I would recommend that you put it at one single focal length. So today I've got the Fuji X-E4, a wonderful tiny little camera from Fuji, and I've got the 50mm 2.0 on there. And the 50mm 2.0 on that Fuji acts kind of like a 75mm in the 35mm world, and I'm gonna see what I could do. Normally, this is a beautiful garden, and I would bring my macro lens for something like this, most likely. But I'm gonna challenge myself by learning the 50 because I've realized I haven't used it that much. And over the last couple months, I've used it almost none. So today I'm going to challenge myself, and let's see what I get. I've got this little arrangement of cone flowers that really is pretty cool. And I'm gonna use my 50mm to see if I can isolate some of them and make some cool compositions. Maybe you work on like 2s or 3s and see what kind of pictures come from that. I want to show you this morning light, and it's around 8:30 and the sun is just coming up over the trees here at Heron Haven, and I could see these whatchamacallits, these cool little round things surrounded by sunlight. And I think that would be a beautiful thing to capture with my 50mm. Look at the light start to play on certain aspects of these coneflowers. They're beautiful. The sunlight's really making them shine. All right, so I don't know much about flowers, but these little lilies, I know they're lilies, by the way, are pretty cool. And the challenge is to try to find a composition with these things that are pleasing with the 50mm to separate the background from everything else. You know, mostly what I'm learning right now with the 50mm, it's easy when you're shooting macro to blur out the background and make the flower really pop and stand out with what you want the viewer to look at. With the 50mm, which is not a macro lens, it's a little bit more difficult. And you have to really look at the background, and the background needs to be a bigger part of the photograph and a bigger part of the consideration than right with macro lenses where you can just like blur out the background and get rid of it completely. So that's one of the things I learned today, shooting only with a 50mm lens. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to reach out if you need anything. And if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, check out my link below to the in-person classes I do at Rockbird Camera. They're super amazing, a lot of fun, and reach out and let's have a conversation.